Today's episode is still part of the special Women's Days and Women's Month series, and today we are joined by one Kenyan chess player who is at the intersection of chess and technological innovation. Our guest today is Florida Korir. Her journey spans winning tournaments and representing Kenya and her university in numerous technological events. And we are here to learn about the tough choices between chess and technology, navigating and merging the two, and what it takes to push oneself to achieve excellence, especially as a young woman and redefining both spaces. Florida, thank you so much for making the time. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much. Hi, Eugene. I appreciate you for having me here today. And how are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. So recently, when I was preparing for this podcast, and thank you for agreeing to it, I am doing a series focusing on ladies who have excelled in the chess space and beyond. So not just niching them at this lady had this highlight and we focus only on that. I look at chess as beyond pushing pieces and all that. The socioeconomic impact chess has, how chess has changed someone's life, the opportunities and challenges therein. So today's focus is about yourself and tech. I knew you from our campus days, although we are in different universities, we interacted quite a lot through chess. You are very, very much involved in chess, but I didn't know the extent of this. So recently, when I was preparing for this episode, I just happened to Google your name. I just Googled Florida Korir, and I was amazed. You are a writer, you're an author, you are a tech guru, a software developer, a robotics specialist who's even traversed the world representing Kenya in tech competitions. Yet you still manage to sustain your passion for chess. I'm really eager to know how you do this and where these two passions each individually started and how they coexist. But first, let's start with the chess. How did this bug bite you?
How did I begin my chess journey? Chess for me began when I was really young. I have grown up in a family of 7 kids. I'm the last born, and almost everyone in my family plays chess. Therefore, I grew up knowing how to play the game. However, I had never attended any chess tournament. During COVID, I was Form 3 then, I was in Form 3 then. I heard of a chess tournament happening, though it was online. And I decided, why don't I enroll and play? Anyway, I don't have anything that's going on. It's COVID and everybody's at home. I enrolled in the tournament, I played, and I won. I was position 2 under 18 Kenya National Championship. Then from then on, I was shortlisted to attend various chess tournaments, one being the under 18 junior category in Ghana, African Championships, which didn't go quite well. It backfired so bad because my chess understanding back then was, let me call it a kienyeji chess. You know how the pieces move. You have a sharp brain to understand some small tactical stuff. However, you don't have the real cognitive chess tools and strategies to beat your opponent in an international space. Yes. Then right after Ghana, I attended various chess tournaments here in Kenya. During one of the chess tournaments in Mombasa Open, I met my chess coach. He approached me and requested to train me. His name is Coach Moses Andiwa. We trained. Hey, you gently train. We trained with coach. We really, 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 really trained. Yeah, so that is my chess background, where I began and where I played in chess. We'll talk more as we go further.
When you say the national championship, it appears that was your first tournament.
Yes, it was my first tournament. When I went to Ghana, I had never played a physical tournament. I didn't even know how to write the score sheet.
What?
The Bishop text C7, I knew nothing about that. I was so, I had never even touched a chess clock. Yeah.
That's really interesting. Because for me, the first tournament I ever played was an internal tournament back in high school. I think I was in Form 1, third term or early Form 2. Yes, it was internal. And that was, I referenced this with in my podcast with Gideon Jihinga.
Mhm.
He organized my first tournament. Chess Kenya officials came. That was the first time I saw a chess clock and that many number of boards. I don't know if you remember this, but you organized my first ever chess tournament. That was way back in 2014 or I think 2015. I was in Form 1 or Form 2 there, back in St. Patrick's High School in 10. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think we did two visits up to E10. This is the Pawns to
Yeah,
Kings Chess Club, right?
that's
Yeah,
right.
and it was Shem and your headmaster big about chess. Yeah? It's really cool. It shows you how you plant a seed over 10 years ago. 10 years,
Mhm.
it's what can come out of it.
I remember you arrived very early in the morning at around 7 a.m. You had is it a silver or a black fielder, which was filled with chess equipment. It was the first time I ever saw a chess clock. Those, those previous chess clocks, they're not the digital ones like this, the ones, the analog ones.
Funny story, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, you know those things, eh? There was a time that we were going to organize a tournament. Was it somewhere, maybe Nakuru? I can't remember. But those
Mhm.
clocks that you're mentioning were stopped by the cops, and at the
What?
boot there's a big box, and that around that time there used to be like explosions and stuff. There's a big box ticking of timers ticking, and the cops don't know what is this. So you can imagine how interesting that that was. But yeah, that was foreign. Most new guys won't even know what an analog clock is and what a flag is. So when Merhul says flag, you guys don't understand.
But
Yeah.
my memorable recollection of that is we played, it was from 8 up to around 5 p.m. The week that followed, I was just exhausted. So exhausted. I can only imagine the amount of intensity you went through in the nationals that you are playing. And then soon after, Ghana. For Givinji, that was his first time on a plane, his first national assignment. Was this also your first time on a plane?
No, no. I had traveled before for tech related stuff.
Mhm. And how old were you at this time?
I was 17.
Ghana.
Mm. Ghana
Uh,
was 17.
you mentioned it was disastrous.
How
how
bad?
paint for us a picture of it beyond you didn't know how to do the score sheet and all that. Inadequacies in theoretical aspects, a broader picture.
Um, it was disastrous because I came back home with 1 point, not taking away the fact that I was position 2 in the Kenya national under 18 championship. And I looking back, I presume it was disastrous because, as I had said, I had a kienyeji type of chess mindset. I did not understand attacks, intermediary attacks, end game, middle game, beginning, opening of the games. I knew nothing about them. And the players in the international level were more experienced than me. And nilifika kwa board nikanyoroshwa left, right, center, double attacks. I knew nothing about those. Pin, I didn't even know the word a pin. What's a pin? I didn't know. I I didn't have knowledge about chess. I just knew how to move pieces and I knew how to play, but I didn't know the terms and what everything is called. Mm. But I think, Eugene, that begs the question: if you didn't know all this, how did you end up becoming the best in under 18?
That is exactly the question going on in my mind right now.
In your head, how did you end up becoming the best in under 18 category? I would advocate that too. Again, how I was trained chess by my family members was in a very tactical manner. I'm very pushy, I'm very aggressive in a on the board, and I do not give up. Therefore, when I was playing under 18, yes, I did make some errors and some mistakes. However, my pushiness, my attacking skills, and putting your opponent on toes and having your opponent walk on eggshells helped me, because either one, your opponent ends up fumbling and losing a piece, or two, you just give them so much tension that you end up outwitting them.
Interesting. That resonates with my initial playing style way back. I used to use what Coach Andio was also my coach in JQuat. It is what he terms as off-board tactics, which are just unfair and not advocated for. By off-board tactics, I mean I know very well I have not studied enough theory to hammer you on the board. So I use things like, that stare for Mikhail Tal. It is said that he could just look at you and your position just crumbles and you start tensing up. I'll just look at you like this. And it used to work, even in the National League. Sometimes I would bang pieces, but soon Coach Andio took me aside and informed me that those kinds of board tactics are just it is good to win on board, like on board. How did you process that? Because I'm imagining it is game after game after game. The results are not really impressive. How did you process that? Were you prepared this will go either way? How did that go for you?
Was I prepared it will go either way? No, I was not prepared for that. I was not prepared to lose. I also was not prepared to win, because at the back of my mind, I knew I'm not the best. How did I handle losing game after game after game? Because I came back home with 1 point, I think, if not zero. 1 point, 1 point. And the 1 point probably was a bye. Yeah. So, how did I process all that? I didn't emotionally process it well. I cried. By game four, I had cried. And thank you to Dr. Victor Ngani. He was our head coach then. He was really nice to me and spoke to me in a very warm and calm manner and helped me understand that it's a game. You win sometimes and you lose sometimes. And also considering the fact that I had never played any tournament, this was my first loss. And it was a big loss because you're losing in another country with 0 or 1 point. So I'll attribute it to I didn't take it well. However, I appreciate the fact that I had a good head coach then, who was Dr. Vitangani.
So at this time in Ghana, were you having these ideas of maybe I will become a GM at some point or play chess professionally? People you are looking up to?
Was I considering to be a GM? Yes. Everybody really considers to be a GM when they're starting out in chess, because it's a dream and it's a very good dream. Did I look to anyone professionally? Back then, at that particular point, I didn't know any big chess players. I was looking to be as good as Joy Inefo. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correct. She was from Nigeria. And also there's a lady called Naledi Marape from Botswana. She was so good. That lady was so good and she was so pretty. So she was the epitome of she's pretty and then she's so good at chess. I wanted to be like her. Yes.
And I hope you're still keeping the faith. You're quite a very strong player. I've played with you. Tactics, you're very, very. Someone is always on edge. What else is this lady planning? What else? What else is there? You need to be on edge always and at least plan like 5 moves ahead. That is my experience with you. All right. And how was your the school and your parents supporting this passion for chess in you? There's a story I'm looking for about how you managed to go to Ghana. Yeah. I-
You read the story. Oh, I don't remember that part. Okay, wait a lot. Okay, this is the thing. Going to Ghana and also traveling to other different places away from chess was a very big issue with my then high school. I studied in Mombasa simply because I'd advocated to the administration really valued school and studying now and getting those grades, which fair point, it's a good thing. You should get the grades. However, I was one of those outliers who really was adamant on the fact that I want to do tech, I want to study chess, I want to go for science congress. I always had I was a very extracurricular activity student, more than a book related student. And that rubbed shoulders off with the administration and lots of people. So me going to Ghana was because previously I had another tournament to attend, a chess tournament, and I was angry with the principal because according to me she had intentionally delayed my travel for the other tournament. And this particular chess tournament one, I did not know it was going to happen per se. I I was on suspension in school because of a computer related issue. Some students had were using the computer lab, again back to tech, and I wanted to use the computer lab with some other ladies. However, these students who were inside the computer lab had refused to open for us, were outside, and we ended up looking for a padlock and locked for them inside. So that got suspended.
People in the computer lab.
Eh. Yeah, that got us suspended. But my reasoning back then was, you guys make us ndani, like you have refused for us to get inside to use the computer lab. And I really, really loved tech and I wanted to use the computers. So we took matters into our own hands and we looked for a padlock and locked those girls inside. Later on, yeah, we went home for a suspension for 2 weeks. And during these 2 weeks is when there was a chess tournament in Ghana that came up. I looked at my family and told them, me, I'm done. I'm done with that school. There's no reason why I should even go back. If they give me an expulsion, fine, but me, I'm going to play. I want to go play. And my family, I send grace to them. They are very good and it's a very happy family. They advocated for me and we went for Ghana without the school's approval. I never went back to school after the 2 weeks. Yes, it was a tough moment, but I still fought everyone and said I am going for what I want and this is what I want and you all will not tell me anything. A stubborn mentality, which I probably still have, but I have learned to tweak it more and understand it better and be more empathetic to people. Yeah, I can attribute it to that, and also the fact that I had a very good family. They went all the way to Mombasa to explain to the school why I would not be going back because Flo has said she's going. Yeah,
That is that is that is interesting. An African setup, eh?
I know. I have such a forward family. In an African setup, your mom would kill you. What do you mean? You're in suspension and you're telling me you want to? Hmm.
Ah, first of all, the grounds for suspension are just And then you decide, uh, I'm going for an international event.
And you know
That
what
is
even made it really, really, I justified it. What made it justify it was when I went to Ghana, I felt so much at peace. Even though I had lost those games, I felt I would rather be in this place and lose all these games than be in school. I didn't want to be in school. I liked the fact that I was meeting other students from across Africa, which I still am friends with them up to date. And I liked the fact that there was peace without any school chaos. I was actually doing what I want. I didn't want anything to do with school.
what was the experience like after the Ghana event? You still went to school, and that same school is where you first participated in what is called the Science Congress. Is it Young Scientists Kenya? How was that experience going back? And then you can talk to us about your active involvement in tech related events while still in high school, specifically Young Scientists Kenya and the project you built, the award winning project you built.
Okay. How was the experience back to school? Back to school. Now the 2 weeks is over. I've gone to Ghana. I'm back in Kenya, and I need to go back to school. I am back at school, and the board. I am reporting to the board as to the actions that I did. Luckily enough, in that board, we had an Indian man who really loved chess, and he was the only one who advocated for me to go back to school. And also, the board members were very, in as much as I had done a very, let's call it, in as much as I was on the wrong, they also understood that this girl had big vision and big goals and big ambition, and she was also putting the school forward. And therefore, I was allowed into school on the grounds that I would actually, one, have a chess club in school, in Mamangina High School, and two, I would at least try to focus on my studies. Yes.
So while
Mm,
looking up, I saw something about Young Scientists Kenya, and you built a project that became award winning, and there was some positive impact to it. How Talk to us about your involvement in IT actively up to competitive level, and this one as the foundational stage for your IT career right now.
okay. My IT career also began when I was very young. My family members, most of them are in tech, software developers, OSS developers. Those are tech related terms, but basically it's just tech related stuff. So naturally, I progressed into that tech related field when I was around 14, 13, class 8. I began class 8, which I began with. I got a laptop from my brother after I finished class 8 because I had passed. I had 408 marks. Then my assignment was two things. One, I would use 1 hour to learn how to type using a platform called Mavis Beacon Teachers Typing. And two, I would learn how to code in languages in a HTML language using a platform called Codecademy, which I still use up to date. From those two, the typing speed helped me because I learned how to type really fast. And in high school, my typing assignments in computer class was way easy. I found computer such an easy subject. And then also, learning tech helped me because I would, like learning coding helped me because in high school I attended Science Congress. And before even I attended Science Congress, there was something called KSEF, Kenya Science and Engineering Fair. Before I attended Young Scientist Kenya. KSEF, I worked on a project called GAD application. And in GAD, we were working on identifying the ingredients in different products and helping consumers understand if these ingredients are actually supposed to be in these products and if they are safe for consumption with the help of KEBS related things. We went to nationals with the GAD application that was in KSF, but we didn't manage after KSF from nationals. Then after KSF back to school, I was so eager to really win because I felt I was so competitive. I really wanted to win because KSF I made it to nationals, but I really wanted to win. And after that, I knew I had to improve my coding skills because I was beaten in nationals because my project was not that good in terms of build up of the system. I started studying coding in school from 6 to around 7 p.m. So in school, we had supper around 6 to 7. I'd make sure I eat my supper really fast and then go to that computer lab and learn how to code. Then when evening prep starts, I go back to class, which helped me because it helped build my skills further along. And that's why you can understand why I was so mad when those girls locked for us the computer lab because it was like me, I need to coding. But it helped with my skills building. And after that, 1 year later, we're back to Science Congress now, but not but KSF again, KSF with a project called Afya System. This Afya System, on a layman's language, it was patients booking appointments to doctors, patients who suffer from non-communicable diseases, meaning in short form NCDs. Also, learning about what NCDs is and how to manage the symptoms of these NCDs. Non-communicable diseases are like heart, kidney failure. Yes. With that, we went to KSEC first, Kenya Science and Engineering Fair. We managed to reach regionals, but when it was on regionals level is when COVID happened and KSEC did not continue from then on. Then Young Scientist Kenya came up together with other competition, global minimum. I probably don't want to call all of them global minimum competition and global minimum one actually. Back to young scientists. Young scientists, we presented the same project, went through the whole judging process, really put in the time, the effort, day in, day out with my project partner then, her name is Juliet. And luckily enough, during the competition day, we won as the best project for as the best tech award tech project in the tech category,
Wow.
which was it was good. The award then was a phone and 30K.
Fish.
Yeah, but that was like in high school when you're almost done with high school. But again, going back to two things. One, my family really supported me through all this. They were very supportive with the whole tech related aspect of me. And also, number two is the connections I made with people in tech and in chess who were always connecting, meeting people. You'd go to KSF for young scientists and you just meet up with people and keep those connections up to date. And those connections are people who help you right now. But also remembering the fact that the school I was in was very study related. You had to study. And I didn't want to do that. And here I am, I'm going for Science Congress, you're winning projects, and you're going for chess, you're winning stuff. But again, the school didn't, I don't want to say it didn't appreciate, but we didn't have that whole light to extracurricular activities. And as I wrote in one of my articles, the best flight I ever had was when I was coming back from Mombasa to Nairobi when I was done with high school. Like I really enjoyed that flight. I know that I've done. Yeah.
Amazing. Your journey speaks of intentional parenting, that is the support you received from your parents in molding a holistic individual, not just a bookworm, so that you are book smart, you are tech smart, which looks like your vision and career progression, and also sports wise, you are a good chess player. And in addition to that, grit, the effort and time invested in perfecting your skill at such a young age. Why is that striking me as very interesting? Because for me, right now, I'm still trying to get into tech. Luckily, I work in social media management. I've taken some IT courses,
Mhm.
although I'm coming from a non-tech background. And interestingly, you mentioned in high school you built a project which was focused on non-communicable diseases. Coincidentally, I work in a health facility which specializes in chronic diseases.
Mm.
And for one of my courses, I recently graduated from a product management course that is the link between tech, business, and consumers. The end of project for me was related to what you did. It is a patient management system
Mhm.
built not using coding but through vibe coding.
Mhm.
So
Okay, I understand vibe coding.
that was my first introduction to coding. It is not coding because I still fear up to now. Those yellow
Mhm.
and blue and those letters. Do you guys even know what you're typing? Or you just nini like this for intimidation purposes and to look cool?
A guy in tech. You have to know what you're typing. You have to.
How? Those things don't even make anyway. Maybe I'll grow into that soon.
No, they don't. They have to make sense to you because you need to understand the same way that we have pattern recognition in chess. You have, I won't call it a pattern, but you have a syntax in the coding part of, and you need to understand syntax. You need to recall where you put your information, your, let's call, it's called variables. You need to recall where your variables are. The same way you in chess, you need to recall where you left your pieces, or else everything will come crumbling down back to you. Mm.
Wow, that's interesting. And we'll come to the correlation between chess and tech.